Before this video starts, I just want to say, please wait till the end of the video so you can hear my final ratings on both of these movies. Now, enjoy. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel, Scooby here. I just saw the Superman movie, I would say a couple days ago, and I did make a review video on that movie. But after the video, I thought I didn't really give all my thoughts out, and pretty much what I want to do in this video is I want to make my thoughts on the best Superman movies ever made, in my opinion, the best Superman movies ever made, The Man of Steel versus the Superman movie from 2025. So that's what I'm going to be doing, just making my thoughts on what I think did better in each movie, from the Superman movie to The Man of Steel. And I first off want to say that I think they are both very solid Superman movies. They both did very well. I know a lot of people would say that The Man of Steel probably didn't do as well compared to Superman. I think a lot more people like Superman than Man of Steel. But personally, after watching clips of the Man of Steel movie and remembering from what I had seen from the Superman movie, I think they are both very solid Superman movies. Again, I think they're the two best Superman movies ever made. I think they are. But I'm going to jot down and tell you what I think the Man of Steel did better on than a Superman movie, and then vice versa. So for the Man of Steel, the first thing I want to say is I think the flying is better in the Man of Steel versus Superman movie, and that's kind of very hard to argue about. It's like if you watch like the first flight from the Man of Steel and you watch the Superman flying, this is not comparable, man. It's just like the flying is so much more cinematic in the Man of Steel. The music behind it is much better. Now I'm not gonna say that David's flying isn't bad. It's not bad. It's still good. It's still good flying, but I think Henry did much better with the flying. I think they captured what was really like to fly in the Man of Steel. They captured what it's like for Superman to fly. So I think they did better with the flying in the Man of Steel. Now for music. Now I didn't pay much attention to the music really in the Superman movie, and not much really for the Man of Steel, but just from watching the first flight of the Man of Steel, that music, I remember listening to it and I'm like, damn, this is actually really good. And it's kind of hard to remember back on the music that they used for the Superman movie. Like again, like the trailer music that they used is all you're gonna remember for the flying, for the music. And again, I really haven't listened much to the score of the Man of Steel and the Superman movie. I haven't really listened too much of the score, but I just want to first off say that the flight score is amazing. Amazing score. It's great. It's great. I don't know about the Superman movie. I think the movie Superman had some good score. I think it did. I'm pretty sure it did, but I think the music is probably better than the Man of Steel. And that's all I gotta say. The next topic is I think the action fight scenes are more dramatic in the Man of Steel. And that's just from me remembering it. You can go back and watch clips of just when Henry was fighting those guys in that town. It was way more dramatic fighting. And then plus too, when you think of it, I only remember the scene where Henry's mom was being infiltrated at her farm, and then freaking Henry zoomed right in, grabbed Zod, I believe, and was just smacking him right in the corner. He's like, you can threaten my mother. But that was an insane scene, and we didn't really get any of that in the Superman film. The only thing we really got that was that dramatic, I would say, was when David and his clone were fighting underground. That was pretty good. I would say that was really good. That was a really good fighting scene. That was really, really good. But I just think that the Man of Steel just captures it more dramatically. That's just what I think. I think it captures it more dramatically. I think they both have good fighting scenes, but I think the Man of Steel is more dramatic. And I think that's honestly all you got to say about what I think is better for the Man of Steel. Now, I'm gonna talk about the Superman movie that we got this year. What do I think is better? I want to say that I think that the suit is more accurate in the Superman film. The suit is a lot more vibrant. Henry Sue is more darker. Gives like more of a darker vibe, and Henry and David is more vibrant. Like it gives you more that comic accurate suit. It definitely, the colors popped more, which is what I want to talk on later on. But I think the suit looks more comic accurate for David and Henry. Both have very good looking suits, but I think, in my opinion, I think David's is more comic accurate. Now this one's gonna be a little hard to talk about. Like it might be hard to make out what I'm trying to say, but I think David looks more like Superman than Henry. And you guys are probably thinking, like, what does that exactly mean? I just think that in terms of, I don't know why, but in terms of the face, for some odd reason, I just think that David looks more like a Superman than Henry, just in terms of the face. I don't know, like I think Henry makes for a pretty good Superman, but I don't know. It just feels like his face just captures more of a Superman look. Does that make any sense? Like, I don't know. That's not the biggest con I really have about any of the movies, but I just think that David just looks more like Superman. I just think that David looks more like a Superman than Henry. I don't know. The facial feature. I think the facial features really capture it. So there's that. And then what I talked about on earlier, but my next topic is the colors of the Superman movie are more vibrant, and that's just not way to argue. I mean, if you watch Man of Steel clips, everything just looks more. It just doesn't look as like poppy. Like the colors pop more. The colors don't really pop that much in the Man of Steel. In this movie, the colors definitely pop a little bit more, especially on his suit. Like David's suit pops more of that color versus Henry's. And just the overall movie in general, I think the overall movie of the Superman, the colors pop more. They just pop more, so and more vibrant. So that's what I gotta say about that. And this one might be, I had a hard time coming up with this one for the last one, but I don't know how much of this they showed in the Man of Steel, but I think David does better with the laser eyes. Again, if you remember that scene from Superman when he's in the sky and he's doing that laser eye and he's doing a 360 all around it. That was pretty fucking cool. That was pretty cool. It really was. I don't remember. Do you guys remember Henry doing that in the Man of Steel? I don't remember that. It's really hard for me to remember. I know that, again, I know they both used their laser eyes in both films, but I don't know. Did David do better with the laser eyes? I don't know. I just, like, from that one scene, he just really, like, took it by storm. Like, he just went like did that. So, and then one thing I talked about was the breathing, like the ice breathing. Did we see that really from Henry Cavill? I don't remember that. I don't remember Henry Cavill having the ice breathing. I know that they showed a lot. They definitely did it for David. They did the breathing thing for David. So that's a believable thing to hard thing to argue on. So I'd think again, David did that. He did the breathing thing. That's all that really. That's I guess that's all I gotta say about that. And I guess that's all I gotta say really about these two Superman movies. Like I said from earlier, I think they are both very solid Superman movies. I think they are very solid. But a lot of people are saying that. I think a lot of people are saying that the Superman movie is better than the Man of Steel. But I don't know. I think and from talking about my last video where I said I think the Superman movie this year is the best Superman movie ever made, I'm gonna take my argument back on that, and I'm gonna say that I think these are both very solid Superman movies. Very solid. A lot of people were talking about the story for both movies. The stories, I didn't really pay attention to that, and that's on me. I didn't really pay attention to the story. I'm just there to see what Superman can do, his fighting, the color of the movie, and all that stuff. Story-wise, I'm not gonna really argue on that, but yeah, that's pretty much the video I wanted to make. Just comparing both of the movies. I think they're both very solid movies. very solid movies. Two of the best superhero movies ever made, I think, in my opinion. And that's about it. Yeah. So and again, these are my opinions. So if please don't trash talk all my opinions. Again, you can if you want to, but I just would appreciate if you don't, because these are my opinions. And yeah, that's all I gotta say for this video. And I'll catch you guys all in the next one. So in the end, I would rate the Man of Steel and the Superman movie both a 8 out of 10.